I think another volleyball star has just been born. Right? Last week we saw something that was truly outstanding, truly dominant. I think last week was a moment that we are going to be able to look back on and pinpoint and be like, yes, this was that moment where Efe Mandıracı became one of the premier talents in volleyball. I really think so. Now, last week we are today it is April 1st. This is not an April Fool's, but today is April 1st, and last week at the end of March, Efe Mandıracı scored 15 aces in 2 matches. 15 aces in 9 sets of play. And given the time of year we are, these aren't nothing matches against nothing teams, right? The first one was in a 5-setter against ACH Ljubljana in the CEV Cup semifinals, right? In a situation where, it's the EV Cup, so it is a little bit of do or die. And then the second one was in Game 5 against Modena in the Lega Volley Scudetto playoff quarterfinals, right? So both matches are do or die, and Efe Mandıracı, the 24-year-old from Turkey, goes out and scores 9 aces, absolutely dominates both of these teams from the baseline. So I'm going to go through today and go through all of the best serves, not the ones where he was dimed or, he missed. I'm going to go through all of his best serves, all of his aces, and all of the overpasses as well, because I honestly think that we are seeing one of the best servers in volleyball right now being born. Truly. I think he's going to be up there with the Leons, with the Plotnitskis, with the Miuras, right? With guys who know how to pin the ball. I'm going to talk about why I think that as I go throughout, the results here. Because I watched both of these matches live, and it was just incredible what he was able to do. But then when I went back and watched it on the VolleyMetrics footage from behind, this is just another thing where I'm going to be talking about how important it is for volleyball to be shown from the baseline, because you're going to get to see the change of the shots, whereas it's just pong. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. I don't need to get into that. You guys already know how I feel about all of that stuff. I'm going to start with the Modena match, go through that, and then we'll finish up with the match against Ljubljana. Okay, so match 1 here against Modena, and you're going to always see that he doesn't ever change his serving spot. He's always serving from 6, and that allows him to go pretty much anywhere. And you're going to see over the course of this video that he has pretty much every shot available to him. In this video, he is going to serve to 7 or 8 different locations and have success with them too, consistently. So, yeah, let's break it down. So we're going to start here, 3-3. His first serve of the game, chipper off of the net here. And one thing that we should really notice is the guys passing on the other side. You have Luke Perry, international level libero. If he played for another country, he'd be considered one of the best. We got Luca Porro, another very, very good receiver, and Vlad Daviskiba. Now, I think it's important to note when talking about Modena, by some accounts, is the best passing team in the Lega Volley. They're number 2 in good passes in the league this year in the regular season, and number 1 in perfect passes. So this is a very, very good passing lineup. First ball, flips the net. Not really much to say. Like, you can say that one is a fluke. Sure. Next point. What does he do? He goes the other way. And that is going to be a theme here that we're going to see, is that he's constantly switching up his serving targets. And right away there, Piacenza gets the advantage. Beautiful set by Porro. Just look at the movement on this serve. Okay, so I'm going to try to pause it. The ball is crossing the plane of the net, probably around here, right? And look where this ball ends up being passed. And so more or less here is where Daviskiba is passing that ball. Honestly, this isn't even that impressive for Mandıracı, what we're going to see throughout the rest of this video now, okay? Next ball, okay? A little bit later in the game. 13-10 in the first, and then another one just absolutely handcuffs Luke Perry. You can see there he kind of wipes his face off a little bit. He continues to serve out of 6. Let's remember this serving position, because you're going to see it constantly, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I think he's so deadly, because he's not switching up. He's not giving different looks every single time. It is the same thing. Ball crossing the net, probably around here. And then let's look at the movement of where that ball is in. So you can't see it, right? His thumb up serve is so good. Just coming in like a curveball. Unbelievably deadly. Now the very next serve, 10-14. Goes after Daviskiba, gets the overpass. And now he's just switching it up. Last time he went to that 1-6 seam. This time he's completely in one. The very next ball. No, sorry, it's 15-10. It's the very next ball. He goes the complete opposite way, right? 15-10. He's been serving mostly down to that 1-6 seam into one. There's the one before. And now here he goes, and just the velocity on this ball. You know, it looks like it's going this way. It looks like it's going to go to that 5-6 seam in between Poro and Perry. When we let the ball play out, the curve on that is just absolutely ridiculous, right? The curve on this. It almost takes Perry's head off, right? Off the shoulder. It's probably crossing the plane of the net, probably around here, going this way, or going this way, sorry. But it's crossing the ball, the plane of the net here, and then comes back in on Perry on this type of angle. And it's just outstanding. So we're in the first set. He already has 3 aces and an overpass, 4 points already for his team. They separate by 5, right? It doesn't end there. This time, he goes the other seam, switching it up. So now we've seen already in this match 2 serving runs. First time he went to the 1-6 seam, then he went to the 5-6 seam. Now he's going back to the 1-6 seam. Just so good. Next ball, 17-10. Now he just goes straight down the middle. You can even see Perry here. Wyatt watches right after he passes this ball. He kind of puts his hands up in a little bit of disgust. Creates that out-of-system situation right into the block. Now we move on to the second set, and this is one where the result isn't there, but you're going to see his range, where he goes that short serve to 4 to take Pardo Matti out of the play. The same thing you're seeing here, that he's in that exact same position in 6. There's a little bit more bend of in his elbow than there was before, but just goes a little bit shorter to Pardo Matti, takes the middle out of the play, right, pass to the attack line. And I mean, this is just a really good set here by Amir Tiziwalu to give it outside to Daviskiba. Now into the third. So starting the third off really strong here, going at Daviskiba. Just a lot of heat, getting that out of system set. Really good track down by, I think that was Pache on that one. Good swing by Bovolenta. Right back into it. This time, he goes that opposite sideline. And I think this one is so important because we haven't seen him go to Paolo Poro at all. So we have, so far in this match, we've seen him serve here. We've seen him serve here. We've seen him serve high up into 1. We've seen him serve into short 4. But we haven't seen him come onto this base, onto this line here, right? And as you'll see, look how narrow this serve receive is, because they're bunching in on him, right? That's what he's shown so far, is that he's going for the 2 seams here. Obviously, Modena is going to switch up their game plan, and right away here, Mandıracı recognizes this and goes thumb down, right? It's the first time that we've truly seen him go thumb down. There's so much daylight over here. He's going to go thumb down. Just a beautiful serve. Third set, his team is down by 2. Just a straight heater down the middle, going at Daviskiba. Overpass, Gutierrez puts that away. Right? Not an ace, but it might as well give him the assist. I wish we could stat this stuff better. Now just down by 1. Another straight heater down by Daviskiba. This is one of the few times you actually see him go back to back on, the same player. Once again, 2 serves in a row to end the kill to get his team on level. Now, they lead by 3. And he goes the opposite. So we saw him start this set by serving to this rail. And now look at how much space has been created. Because once again, he's been going down the middle. He's been going to those seams. He hasn't really been serving the sideline all that much. This is one where he just absolutely crushes it to the sideline. And we're going to slow it down here and go frame by frame, because this is one that Modena actually calls out. And you can't really see, but you can kind of see that shadow right there showing that ball is in. So far, we've got aces. We've seen him get aces here. We've seen him get aces here. We've seen him get aces here. We've seen him get aces baseline, and now we've seen him go opposite rail. 23-19, you've got the Monsters Inc. point.
23-19! We have a 23-19!
And let's see what he does. Just crushes another one right down the middle on Daviskiba. Just straight heater. Not too much curve on that ball, but just catching Daviskiba up nice high. And that's one of the things that's so important about how good he is. He's oftentimes going for that back line. We've seen already that he has that accuracy to be able to go get it too. And then the same thing in the fourth. And this is where they've kind of switched things around. In the fourth, you're seeing that switch up. We see here Perry and Porro side by side. Mandıracı goes to serve. Crushes it on Porro. Another incredible ace. And I mean, I feel like I'm gushing all over him. Now, a little bit later in the set, there we go. We see like him finishing the circle. The only place he doesn't serve is short to 3. Because now he's going to 4, pull Sanguinetti off the net, and it results in a big block for Gutierrez. So we'll see here on the short serve, like his elbow is a little bit low, but that's how he's going to be able to hit that serve. But this position, right, he's hitting that ball at its peak, and I mean, he's using the entirety of his frame to bring that ball down. Now, 19-16, and he's just going to serve down the seam once again. And that was his 9th ace of the match. Serving it right down the seam between Porro and Perry, 2 fantastic serve receivers, and it's just too much. But just goes to show, like, he was so good in this match. 33 serve attempts against Modena in game number 4 of a total of 96. So he's serving over 1/3 of his team serves. He spent over a third of the game on the baseline. 8 errors, 9 aces. And I mean, he also got served at 16 times and led his team in attack attempts as well with 22. So it's not like he is a guy who is underutilized and only bombing away from the baseline. He is a complete player who's playing every facet of the game and absolutely dominates. So we're going to come over now to the Ljubljana match, which was a few days beforehand. And it was a much different game against Ljubljana for Mandıracı for a couple of reasons. First off is that he was a little bit less effective throughout the first 2/3 of the match. He had 4 errors and 1 ace on 11 attempts through the first 3 sets. And then where he really started to heat up was the end of the fourth, which is important for a few reasons. And then he was outstanding in the fifth, as we'll see here for a second. But I'm just going to kind of go through it because it's really important to see that he's really just trying to keep the ball away from Tine Earnout. Okay, 17 over here. He's very rarely going to go after Tine Earnout in the early stages of this match. So we don't actually need to break down much of it because, as I said, he wasn't serving that well. We'll see here. This is one where he actually goes at Earnout straight down the middle with heater. He gets the pass off the net. Here into the third, this is going to be his first ace. We're just going to look at that movement on this serve. It's crossing the plane of the net here in the seam and ends up going all the way to the baseline. And you can't see it, but it's landing here behind Murov. That movement that we see on his serve is what makes it so difficult. And that's going to be his first ace of the match in the third set. He starts to heat up in the fourth set. And notice the score. Notice the score. That's really important. 10-18. 18 is for Ljubljana. 10 is for Piacenza. Ljubljana has all of the momentum right now. Piacenza is playing at home in the CEV Cup. Once again, I watched both these matches live, and we were talking a lot in the Discord about how dangerous this was going to be for this Piacenza team because they didn't want to have to go to 5 sets when Modena wasn't playing in any European competitions, right? Modena had the entire week off to get ready for Game 5 of their series. Piacenza did not. So it looked like they were going to be good. Let's get a quick little 3-dong. head home, go rest up. But instead, now they're going to be going to a fifth set and they're getting absolutely crushed in the fourth set. And I talk about this a lot whenever I commentate or, whenever I was coaching or even whenever I'm doing a stream or in the Discord. If you are down by a lot, building momentum at the end of the set is important. Even if you're not going to win that set, just to build that momentum. This is exactly what Mandıracı does here with two similar serves and just really finds that weak area of the court, gets the ace, not much of an issue. Now in the transition, and it's the very next play, right? It's 18-11. Now we're going to see Tonček Stern really step up and provide that visual here. So you've almost got 4 across the back right now. And that doesn't matter for Mandıracı because he is going to go right back to that same spot and try to go after Tonček Stern. Just takes a little bit off of it, doesn't hit it too much, and just puts that, thumb up spin on that ball to bring it back to 1. And those two serves are so important because they create the momentum for what's coming next. Because next up, notice it's 5-3. And I'm just going to run it because he dominates the rest of this fifth set. At this point, he has 3 aces, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. First one, heater down the middle, puts Ropret out of system. Bad set. This is actually a really good rally. There was a lot of really good back and forth rallies in this one. And Mandıracı was serving fantastic, but it was also the entire team play of Piacenza. You see a beautiful dig there by Loretti. Loretti played in this game. Pace played in the quarterfinal game. And Stern makes the error. I'm pretty sure that was his second error in a row. Next one. Just another heater. Last serve, he went to 6. This time he's going to go to 4, going after Earnout. And another bad pass, 3-man block, beautiful block by Simone and Piacenza. They're up 7-3 now. Just an absolute heater to that 5-6 seam. Catches Kovacic off guard because he's just crushing that ball. It's now 8-3. So from 5-3 to 8-3, all off the serving of Mandıracı. Once again, another good serve, another really good dig there by Loretti. Gutierrez makes such an aggressive swing. You love to see it. Mandıracı goes right up to him and daps him up. And this is one of the beautiful ones. Creates that overpass, just so much movement on that set, tipped over by Simone. This was actually the one that I was thinking of because there's just so much movement on that ball. It's up 10-3. And that ball out of his hand is kind of going on this direction. So Kovacic, once again, very experienced libero, getting ready in 6 back. And this is probably where it's crossing the plane of the net. And look how far it makes its way inside. So much movement, right? Once again, when it's here, it's going this way. And then it curves its way back to be able to come down and really catch Kovacic off guard. Next one was a good pass. They didn't show it. And then he just absolutely crushes this ball to the back line. This one was the most impressive of them all. I'm pretty sure it was a bit of a phaser. He doesn't really go back to this back corner, and he just crushes it right at Tonček Stern. And the way he hits this ball too, it feels like it's a little bit far ahead of him, and he's just trying to chase that ball a little bit. But his wrist snap is so good. Yeah, probably probably a little bit before that is where it crosses the plane of the net. And then you'll see where this ball hits Stern. Right, that's almost 2 meters of movement from side to side. And this is a guy who regularly hits over 120 kilometers an hour. So this is just such a deadly serve. And at this point, this game is done. There's just so many things that he's able to do well. The speed and the velocity that he's hitting the ball at. At the VNL last year, he was tracked at 127.5, which I fully believe. Absolutely believe. The shot selection and the variety of shots. He's not just going after one shot consistently over and over again. He's switching it up to different positions, to different spots on the court, keeping guys on their toes. Even if he's going after the same guy, sometimes he's going midline, sometimes he's going short to the left, then he's going up to the right shoulder. He's moving the serve receivers around so much. So when you add that with, the angle he's hitting that ball at, touching way up there. This is a guy who touches close to 12. Let's say 12. Coming down, hitting different angles is ridiculous. Then on top of all this, his ability to string together multiple serves and go on these runs. There's just so much poise there. And there's just so much awareness of, especially, hey, it's the end of the fourth. My team is down by a lot. This is a must-win CEV Cup game. It would mean a lot for our team to be able to go to the finals and go take home a trophy. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. And just has the ability to string together these runs. And everyone who's played volleyball knows that once you get into those runs, that's when it's the most morally depleting. He has so much consistency in terms of how he's serving the ball, right? His approach is always the same. He's always looking the same. He's coming from the same spot, but it creates so much diversity in the result, right? We've seen him go to 5 different spots in the court. And I'm sure if he needed to go to short 3, he could do that as well too, just as effectively. This shouldn't be that much of a surprise. This is a guy who finished 3rd in overall aces in the regular season, the Italian leg of volley with 48. He was 4th overall in aces per set, averaging 0.59 aces per set. And now that we've come to the playoffs, he's actually leading the playoffs in aces. He has 15 aces across the 5 matches, which means he had 8 going into game number 5, had 9 in game number 5. He's averaging 0.74 aces per set throughout the playoffs so far. And while the VNL last year, he wasn't one of the best servers, he was actually the best server at the World Championships last year. Now, he had the second most aces, tied with Michel Ayi with 13. Yuri Romano was first with 15, but he was the top of the World Championships in aces per set because he had 13 aces across just 4 matches, right? Because he didn't play the quarterfinal against Poland. He was injured. So remember, Turkey actually had a pretty tough schedule. 3 of their 4 teams that they played against were good VNL teams or decent VNL teams because he absolutely destroyed Japan. Then he dismantled Canada, and the other one was Libya. And it was the same thing against the Netherlands. So this is a guy who went out and served 13 aces over the course of just 4 matches. And he had 2 less than a guy who had 7 matches and went all the way to the final in Yuri Romano. So
it's later on as I'm editing this video, and as I just said, I can't read. And even though I've been reading these stats for like 15 plus years now, I still can't get it right. In the video, I said that he was the top server at the World Championships, and in fact, he was not. He was the second best server because apparently I can't read this simple graphs and see that Gabby Garcia was actually the top server. But still, he was the second best server, okay? Sue me. He's still really good.
You have to really think that this is a guy who is really just coming into his own right now. Like right here at 24, he's really shown that he can be one of the premier talents. And I really love the fact that this Piacenza team is building around him because that was really impressive stuff from what we saw against both of these teams. And now he has to take on Perugia in the semifinals of the Scudetto playoffs. And if he can play like this, they may have a chance. I mean, a lot of other things need to happen, but this is really going to be the test when he goes up against one of the best teams in volleyball. But they don't serve receive as well as Modena. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Mandıracı can do. But still, this has to be one of the more impressive things we've seen in volleyball this year.